Let's start with our first news. Paulo Costa sends a warning to Khamzat Chimaev while discussing a potential rematch scenario involving Strickland. Speaking on Submission Radio, he believes Strickland would have an even easier path in a second fight, saying it would be even worse for Khamzat. He also dismissed claims that Khamzat's performance was affected by a bad weight cut, saying he does not buy that narrative. He added that he does not see anything new that Khamzat can bring to trouble Strickland again. He explained that Strickland will be better prepared, understanding exactly what he needs to do this time. Speaking of Strickland, Paulo also mentioned that Joe Rogan suggested he seek help at a clinic after recent discussions. According to Costa, Strickland's confidence and game plan awareness would be significantly higher in a rematch, making adjustments that Khamzat may struggle to answer. He suggested that the media hype around excuses only helps discredit Strickland's performance, which he fully rejects. Overall, Costa made it clear he sees Strickland as the stronger fighter heading into a potential second clash with Khamzat. He emphasized that experience and preparation would be the deciding factors, not excuses about sickness or missed weight. In his view, Strickland's familiarity with Khamzat's style gives him a clear tactical advantage, allowing him to control the fight more comfortably. Costa believes this matchup would repeat the same outcome or become even more dominant for Strickland if it happens again inside the UFC. He closed by standing firm on his opinion, refusing to change his stance despite ongoing debate in the MMA community. That concludes his remarks, as the discussion continues to circulate across UFC fans and analysts worldwide regarding the possible rematch dynamics. Costa remains confident in his assessment moving forward without hesitation in future fights ahead. Move on to another news. Arman not back up for Ilya versus Justin Gaethje fight? Today, let's get started with Arman is not the backup for Ilya versus Justin Gaethje. Dana White has said Arman is the backup fighter for the upcoming bout between Justin Gaethje and Ilya, and Arman has said the same thing, but recent comments from Arman about his schedule have people confused about what the real plan is. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to support the channel. Recently, it was announced that Arman is scheduled to wrestle Tony Ferguson the night before the White House event at RAF 10. So at a press conference promoting the card, Arman was asked about his status as backup fighter for Ilya Gaethje fight. Arman said he is still backup, even though he will compete at RAF 10 night before. Here's the clip. Because you said you like to compete every week. You already booked to compete in 2 weeks against Tony Ferguson. Dana White also said you are backup fighter for White House title main event. I'm booked until September already, so they don't announce yet. Okay, so yeah, so you're not backup fighter, huh? Are you backup fighter for White House fight or no? I have wrestling in June, and we'll see. So yeah, I was just wondering how you're going to. Yeah, I'm a backup, but like, if everything is going good, so nobody, it's 2 weeks left. So I think they're going to fight. So I'm gonna wait my chance. Okay, all right, so you don't have to weigh in and then fly and wrestle for RAF, right? No. I'm gonna do RF. The situation has created major confusion among fans regarding his true schedule and availability for the UFC title fight discussions, despite being linked to backup status. Arman insists he will fulfill his wrestling commitments first before anything else. He believes there is still time for the main event to be confirmed without any last-minute changes. He also emphasized that his preparation remains focused on performance rather than speculation surrounding opponent withdrawals or replacements. According to Arman, everything will become clear once the fight week approaches and final confirmations are made by officials, leaving fans waiting for updates on whether he will step in as backup or remain fully committed to his wrestling match. Move on to another news. Arman reacts to Colby Covington call out. Arman was also asked to respond to recent comments Colby Covington made about him, calling him out for a wrestling match. He also suggested that Arman has been ducking him, while Arman made it clear he is ready for the match if certain conditions are met. Specifically, he stated that he is open to facing Colby after his upcoming wrestling commitments at RAF 9 this weekend, where he is scheduled to compete against influencer Muggsy. Arman said he is focused on competing first, but he did not rule out a future wrestling match with Colby Covington depending on results. He further added that if Colby wins his next fight against Chris Weidman at RAF 9, then discussions could move forward, but if not, he may consider other opponents. Arman emphasized that his priority remains active competition, and he is willing to take high-profile challenges whenever the opportunity presents itself. The situation has sparked debate among fans about potential matchups and future directions in Arman's combat sports career. Meanwhile, Arman continues to build momentum on RAF cards with strong performances and growing attention from the wrestling community worldwide. Analysts believe his increasing presence in crossover events is positioning him as one of the most talked about grapplers in the sport today. Colby Covington has yet to respond further, but his earlier comments have already added fuel to the ongoing discussion between both sides. Fans are now closely watching whether this wrestling challenge will materialize after RAF 9 or remain part of the broader promotional talk. Arman maintains that he is ready for any direction the situation takes, but insists his immediate focus stays on his scheduled competition. This ongoing narrative continues to develop as both fighters remain active, and the combat sports community awaits official announcements regarding future matchups. Overall, the situation highlights the growing crossover between wrestling and MMA, as athletes continue to test themselves across different platforms and promotions. Arman's involvement in these discussions keeps him in the spotlight, especially as fans debate potential matchups with top contenders in the division. With multiple move on to another news. Chael Sonnen talks about Nasruddin Imavov's situation. Chael Sonnen recently weighed in on the situation, stating that Imavov should be next in line for a world title shot. However, he also believes that Imavov is not doing enough to actually secure the opportunity. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Sonnen explained that, in his view, the MMA community has already decided Imavov deserves the shot regardless of who the current champion is. He said that as a community, that is the general belief. Sonnen continued by saying that Imavov has not been vocal enough about pushing for the fight. According to him, Imavov has not demanded it strongly, nor has he consistently spoken up in a way that forces the UFC's attention. He added that although Imavov has the support of Sean Strickland, who has publicly discussed the situation, it still has not been enough to move things forward. He pointed out that Strickland did mention once that he would be open to a rematch with Khamzat, but only after other priorities are handled. Sonnen suggested that this kind of acknowledgement helps Imavov's case, but it still lacks the aggressive push needed in today's MMA landscape. In his words, Imavov is the rightful contender, but without stronger demands, he is not securing what he deserves. Sonnen also emphasized that simply being owed a title shot is not enough unless a fighter actively creates pressure. He argued that Imavov needs to come out and make a clear statement that he is willing to move forward or even step away from negotiations if the UFC does not grant him the opportunity. While acknowledging that Imavov has mentioned the fight on social media and in interviews, Sonnen believes it has not reached the level of urgency required. He concluded that Imavov has the position and the support, but lacks the decisive action to lock in the opportunity. In Sonnen's view, timing, pressure, and public demand are just as important as rankings when it comes to securing a UFC title shot in today's competitive environment. Move on to another news. Dana White challenged to release Tom Aspinall by manager. Tensions continue to rise between promoters as verbal exchanges intensify in recent interviews. Eddie Hearn has now openly challenged Dana White to release his client Tom Aspinall from his UFC contract, arguing that the fighter should be paid what he is truly worth. Recently, Eddie Hearn spoke to TV, where he expanded on his comments and made a bold proposal directed at Dana White. He referenced previous remarks suggesting that Dana should be happy about fighters earning more money, especially after Conor Benn's deal with Zuffa Boxing. Hearn questioned that stance and used it as a foundation for his new offer. He said that after reflecting on Dana's comments, he has come to a clear conclusion. Hearn stated that he would like Dana White to release Tom Aspinall from his UFC contract. In return, he guaranteed in writing that Aspinall would be paid significantly more outside the UFC, claiming at least 3 times and potentially 5 times more than what he is currently earning. Hearn emphasized that Aspinall is a hardworking, working-class athlete who deserves every possible penny due to the physical toll of the sport. He stressed that fighters put their bodies on the line and should be rewarded accordingly. In his view, Dana White should be happy for Tom Aspinall if he were to secure a more lucrative deal elsewhere. He also suggested that Aspinall is currently unhappy with his situation, adding further fuel to ongoing speculation about contract tensions. These comments have sparked widespread discussion across the MMA world, with fans debating whether top UFC fighters are being fairly compensated compared to opportunities outside the promotion. The situation adds another layer to the ongoing rivalry between major combat sports promoters, as business and fighter pay continue to be major talking points. Hearn's challenge puts public pressure on Dana White to respond, especially given the high-profile nature of Tom Aspinall within the heavyweight division. As the debate continues, attention now turns to whether Dana White will address the comments directly or ignore the proposal altogether, while the broader discussion around fighter pay and promotional control remains at the center of combat sports conversation. Move on to another news. New UFC fight announced. A recent report shared by Dorf from Steve Duncan on X reveals that Khan Ali and Javier Reyes are set to fight on the UFC's June 27th card in Baku. Ali last competed in January, where he secured a majority decision win over Yeha. Since his appearance on Tough 32, he has gone 2-2 in his official UFC bouts, showing mixed results inside the octagon, but remaining active in the division. Meanwhile, Javier Reyes enters this matchup riding momentum after a stoppage victory over Douglas Silva d'Andrade in February. That win marked his UFC debut, making an immediate impact with a dominant finish. Reyes earned his UFC contract after defeating Justice Torres on Dana White's Contender Series in September, where he impressed enough to secure a spot on the roster. In another update, Dorf also shared a report from Crazy Kev on X, confirming that Tommy McMillan will face Alberto Montes at the UFC's July 18th event in Oklahoma City. McMillan is coming off a strong performance where he stopped Manolo Zacchini in April, continuing his rise through the ranks with another convincing finish. Prior to that, McMillan earned a majority decision win over David Mongoyan in September while competing on Dana White's Contender Series, further proving his consistency and durability across multiple fights. His recent run has positioned him as one of the prospects to watch heading into this upcoming matchup. These newly announced bouts add more depth to the UFC's upcoming schedule, as both cards in Baku and Oklahoma City continue to take shape with rising contenders looking to make a statement. Fans are already beginning to circle these fights as key opportunities for emerging talent to break into higher-level contention. At the weigh-ins for Saturday's UFC event, attention is also expected to shift toward final confirmations and any last-minute changes that could affect fight lineups, as the promotion continues to finalize a busy summer schedule packed with international and domestic events featuring new matchups and developing fighters across multiple divisions. Move on to another news. Magomed Ankalaev is preparing for his next UFC fight. Magomed Ankalaev is officially booked to face Khalil Rountree on July 25th, and his training camp is already underway as he ramps up preparations for the matchup. Recently, his team released a new clip showing him putting in serious work on the heavy bag, displaying sharp timing, power, and controlled movement as he sharpens his skills ahead of fight night. The footage quickly drew attention from fans, as Ankalaev looked focused and disciplined during the session, continuing to build momentum as he approaches another key test in his UFC career. His striking sequences showed patience and precision, suggesting that his camp is fully locked in on the game plan for Khalil Rountree. This matchup has already started generating interest, as both fighters bring dangerous striking and knockout ability into the octagon. Ankalaev's calm, calculated style will be put against Rountree's aggressive and explosive approach, making this a highly anticipated clash in the division. With the fight scheduled for July 25th, both camps are expected to intensify preparations in the coming weeks. Ankalaev's recent training footage signals that he is already deep into fight mode, focusing on sharpening his striking and maintaining conditioning for a high-paced battle. As anticipation builds, fans are closely watching how both fighters adjust their camps and strategies heading into fight night. Ankalaev continues to position himself as one of the top contenders, and a win here could further strengthen his case for future title contention in the UFC light heavyweight division. The question now surrounding the matchup is simple. Who will come out on top when Magomed Ankalaev steps into the octagon against Khalil Rountree on July 25th?